Right. So last week we started the implementation of a relational database. So we used the MariaDB MySQL client, and we started uh, an example. That means to implement these two tables. So we'll start from that point that we stopped from that. So first enter your password and login. So I told you have to remember the schema that you used. Otherwise, you will not be able to see your tables that you have created. So your schema is stored in your installation directory. So if you go, I have installed in the default directory. You can go to the installation directory of the MariaDB client, and in this one data, the schemas that you create are stored in these folders. So we created this schema last week, and if you go to that one, you can see a set of files. So you can see the tables. That means that this is how it is stored. This is the way it is stored. This is the implementation. This is the database implementation form, not what we see as table. So this is not stored as a table, but it is stored as how it is implemented, the relational database. So this is implementation. The relational table that we created is converted into some data structure and stored. So you can see the head table data structure and employee data structure. One is containing the schema or the definition of the table, and other is containing the data for that table, right? So these are the files in your schema. So that's why I told you. So you have to remember the schema name, otherwise you will not be able to log in and see your tables again, right? So like we did last week, so we have to use the schema. So once we give that command, our schema is changed, and now we can modify the tables, insert data, delete, update, or retrieve data from the tables defined in this schema, right? Okay, so we created these two tables last week, so we'll just check whether those have been created. So the command for getting all data from a relation is select star. That means retrieve everything, all fields, all these attributes from head. There were two tables as head and employee. So this table, in addition, there is one another column also. And so we defined this table structure last week, and we populated that table with this data using insert command. So we did the same thing for the employee table. If you want to see the data inside it, you can give this SQL statement. So you can see we have populated it too during the session in last week, right? So today we will do some alterations to the schema and data modifications. We'll see some. Now we have defined the schema. So the lesson of today is on how to change this schema, how to change the definition of a table once you have already defined it. So if you want to see how the database or the table has been defined, you can use the statement show create table employee, the table name. Then it shows how we created. This is how we created or defined the schema. There are a set of attributes and data types and null constraints and default constraints, and then the primary key, then the unique key and foreign key constraint. So we did this last week. So this is the foreign key from this employee table to the head table's department ID. So we have set it to when an entry from this referenced table is deleted, the values in this table will be set to null. If this is updated, those values will be deleted from the referencing, that means employee table. So that's what we did last week. So today we have to convert this employee table into this table. So for that done, we have to change the schema, or in other terms, change the definition of the table. So there are only these 4 columns at the current definition, only these 4 columns. So we have to do these changes, right? So we will go one by one. So first we have to insert these columns into the table. Okay, so first we have been asked to add columns to employee table as these columns, but there are some constraints associated with each attribute of this table. So we have been asked to give default values. For example, for age, we have to give default value to 25. And for join date, we have to give default value to this one. For join time, this one. For merit attribute, this one. And for security code, default value this one. And for experience, default value this one. And by looking at the data, you must be able to imagine the data type of these attributes. And also there are some other constraints that age should be greater than 20 and less than 60. That means the SQL should make sure that the user is not allowed to enter age less than 60 and greater than 60. If the user tries to enter such a value, there should be an error message. And another constraint, experience should be less than 50. So we will see how we can do this one by one. So the keyword to change the definition of a relation is called alter. So we have to do some change. That's the meaning of alter. So we have to do alter table, then table name. Alter table employee. So employee is this table name. So we have to change. We are going to change that table employee. Then what we have to do? So we have to add each attribute one by one. So we are going to do an addition operation. So we have tell, we are going to add what? We are going to add a column. Add column. Then we have to give the column name. Column name is age. We are going to alter a table known as employee. Then we are going to give it a name as age. Age. Then its data type. So you can see this one's so age should be an integer, and it should be less than 60 and greater than 20. So it will always be limited to two digits. So in that case, rather than declaring it as integer will typically contain small number of digits, right? So this age will contain only two digits. So there is a data type known. I hope you can hear me and see there was a connection problem. Can you hear and see the screen?
We can hear you, sir, but slides not can't see.
Oh. Okay, now I think you are able to see the screen, and it is being recorded, right? Okay,
Yes, sir.
so okay, what I was telling was, so this one should be limited to two digits, right? So there is a data type known as tiny integer. Tiny integer denoted by tiny int, and then you have to specify the size. 2. This one is only having two digits. So the data type is tiny int 2. And if you can remember, there is an additional constraint that age should be greater than 20 and less than 60. To ensure such a constraint, you can use the keyword check. So we said we are going to add a column known as age with data type tiny integer, and we have to check whether age is less than 60 and age is greater than 20. This is the constraint. So you must use the keyword check. So stop with a semicolon. So if you are getting a success message, then this column has been successfully added to the database. I missed one thing. I couldn't specify the default value. So this age is having a default value of 25. So even though you add this one, you can even later add a default value. So how we can do that one is, so we are going to alter table. The table name is employee. Now we are not going to add a column, but we are going to change something in a column. So in that case, we have to use alt again, alter column. We are going to use alter column. Alter column set. So alter column, then you have to say specify the column name, which column that you are going to change or alter column age, set default 25. You can do that one at one statement here, but I forgot to give the default value here. So in case, this is how you do that. So you see that it was successfully executed. So now if you go and look at the table, you can see age, but I added this constraint later. So now if you add one, this will be there, but since we add this constraint later, it is not there because we added this one later. No, before we added, this was null. So if you add a new row, this will be coming with the default value, right? So I'll demonstrate that one. So if you add a new row, how to add a new row? Insert into employee. If you are going to add for the whole table, no need to specify what are the attributes that you are going to enter, but I'm not going to add for the whole table. I'm going to keep this one empty. So I'm going to add for employee ID, department ID, area, designation only. Values, I'll say E003 and EIE. It says software. What was the error? I missed to add one thing. So area software and designation. Lecture. Okay, it was added successfully. Now, if I visualize the table, now you can see for the new one. So this is what I added. New one. I didn't add this age as 25 here. I didn't add age. I didn't add any value to age. I added for employee ID, department ID, EIE. For the area, I added software, and for the designation, I added lecturer. But I didn't add for age. But it has been automatically added. These things were not added because I define the default constraint later. So after I define, if I add a new entry, then that will have that default value, right? Okay, so now we'll continue the rest. So to get practice, even though you can move with the arrow keys, to get practice, I recommend you to type each and every command from the beginning, right? So what we are going to do now, we are going to add this column. So how we are going to alter table employee, add column. Add column what? This name, join date. Join date. Then we have defined the data type. So data type, you can see here, it is a date. It is a date. So in SQL, there is a separate data type as date. Date. So this is the data type. Date. And then we can define the default constraint, which I forgot to insert before. So you can say default as this one. So this date is also a kind of a character, or in other terms, a string like data type. So we have to specify with single quotes. And enter this default date. And for this one, there is no any other additional constraint defined. There is no any other additional constraint defined. So we will terminate that SQL statement there. So it was added successfully. So to verify, we'll look at the table. So you can see a new column as join date has been added with a default value of this one. Default value will be automatically added as it is the default value. Right, so we have to keep repeating that one for all other attributes, all other columns, right? So how to add? So alter table employee, then add column, then the name of the attribute is join type. If you look at this one, you can identify it as a time. So in SQL, there is a separate date type for time as time. Time is the data type here. And we are going to declare this default value. Default. So the first two zeros are for hours, then for minutes, then for seconds. So a new column known as join time will be added with data type time with a default value of this one. So it was added successfully. So at the end, I'll show you these things added. So we'll continue adding the rest of the columns. So again, you have to add the next column. Next column is married. So married is either true or false. It is having two values, right? So it is having the Boolean data type, 0 or false. Sorry, 0 or 1. So alter table employee, same thing, add column married. the data type will be Boolean. And the expected default value is true, but this is storing as zeros and ones. So 1 stand for true, 0 stand for false. So we have to pass the default as, so as the default value is true, we have to pass it as default 1. And don't give the single quotes, because this is a kind of a number. For numbers, you don't give the single quote because it is not a character or a string. Only to specify that this is a string, you give like this within single quotes. So if I show you the current state of this table, you can see the previous one, join time, has also been added with default values, and this one, then the one that we added a moment ago also has been added with this default value. Okay, then what we have to add is this column. And if you observe, this security code column is a binary number of 6 binary digits, right? So if I go back, so if you can use the arrow keys and navigate if you are familiar with this one. So what we are going to change here is, so these things are same, all the table at column. Now the column name is security code. Now the data type is, so as this is a binary digit, a collection of binary digits, so the data type is binary. Binary, we have to specify the number of digits. There are 6 digits, and you have to specify the default value also, this one. Right, so if you see the table, you can see this one is there, but one number is missing. Yeah, that's because the first is 0, so the 0 and this one does not matter. 0 1 0 1 0 1 means same, 1 0 1 0 1. Right, okay. So we added that one also. Now the last one is this one. You can see it is a floating point number. So if you know C programming, so you have to declare it as a float or a double precision floating point number. But in SQL, you have to declare, so this is a decimal number actually. Floating point number is decimal. Another name for floating point number is decimal. So the data type in SQL is decimal, right? So in addition, there is another constraint that experience should be less than 50. So you have to implement that also. So we have to use alter table employee at column experience, column name, then data type. So data type is, as I told you, it is a decimal number, so we have to use this data type, decimal. And we have to specify the total number of digits. total number of digits, here it is, total number of digits is 3 and only one decimal place is there. So in here, first you have to specify the total number of digits. So the first one is the total number of digits, that is 3, and then the number of decimal places. This is the notation of the data type for a floating point number in SQL. It is decimal. The first one is for the total number of digits, and this is the number of decimal digits. Here total is 3 and number of decimals digit is 1. And there is a default value. So we have to specify the default value of 10.0. Default 10.0, again without single quotes, because this is not a string. And experience should be less than 50. So we have to use the check keyword. Check this column less than 50, whether it is less than 50 or not. Experience less than 50. It will check when we are inserting, updating this column. It will always check. And if we violate this one, it will not allow us to do that operation. Okay, now we can visualize the whole table like this one. So the final column also has been inserted. This one. I hope that adding a column is understandable to you. So it is nothing much difficult. So you have to use alter table and name of the table, then add column, then column name, then data type. If there is a default constraint, you have to specify that one, and if there are additional constraints, you can specify using check keyword. Okay, so we finish this part, right? So the first part is over. So then we have to do another change to this table. So we have to change the column name, this one, area, to specialization. We have to change the column name. So when we are doing a change like changing a constraint, just like we added the default constraint, something like changing a constraint of a column, then we can use alter column. Towards alter column can be used, but in case we have to change the name of a column, we cannot use alter column. Then we have to use a special keyword known as change column. But alter table is same, but we have, if we are renaming, we have to rename using change column. So how we are going to do that one is, so alter table employee, that is same as before. We are going to do some change to a table known as employee in this schema. What we are going to do now, not alter column, but change column. Change column. What we are going to do the change is this column, area, change column area to what? We have to change it to this one. Okay, so we have to give other data type and other constraints also. Change column area to specialization. Then, so this is a variable character. Acha. $25. So this is the command that I issued. So what I did was, so we have to only change the name of this table, this column. We are not asked to change the data inside that column. So in that case, we can use the change column. Change column. So this is the name of the column that we want to rename. Then this is the new name and then data type. So we will see whether data is affected or not. You can see this column has been renamed. This column has been renamed to specialization, but the inside data has not been affected. So remember that you cannot use alt column always. Alt column is not used for changing the name of a column or not changing the data type of a column. So to change the data type, there is another keyword. So that is what we are going to learn next. So in the next one, we are asked to modify the data type of designation. This one as variable character 25 size. So if we look at this one now, we will see what is the data type. So to visualize the data type of a given column, we have to use show create table employee.